going on, guys? MMA Professor. Gonna do UFC 120 picks. Taking place Saturday. Yeah, they're late. I don't have a lot of time. I gotta go to the gym actually right now, so just busting this out before I go to the gym. I'm not actually gonna see this. I know it's free. Not gonna see it live. Gonna actually be at a Megadeth concert. Megadeth and Slayer. Hell yeah. So let's do the picks right off my MMA playground. As you know, if you are a member of the site, there's no particular order. There will be no order, except for I will pick the main event last. Fabio Maldonado against James McSweeney. McSweeney cutting to 205. Knew he could do it. Still looks soft at 205. He looked in better shape. Maldonado trains with Team Nogueira. Most wins by TKO. He does have submission savvy. I'm going to go with Maldonado in this one. Second round submission. McSweeney just isn't UFC caliber. I don't know if Maldonado is either, but we'll find out. Mark Holst against Paul Sass. Sass, pretty good grappler, pretty good striker. Pretty well, most wins by, submission. Very long, lanky. Mark Holst, problem with ground game. He's an okay striker. Paul Sass is going to submit him, most likely with a triangle. This sucks. Steve Cantwell get pulled off the card because he tore his ACL. Tore his ACL. Right before the fight? What the hell are you doing that hard that you tear your ACL right before a fight? Just a litany of injuries he's been out since, September 2009 as it is. This is going to set him back even further. Once promising prospects, I tell you. John Hathaway against Mike Pyle. It's a good test for John Hathaway in that it's a seasoned veteran. He's got to deal with some problems with, jiu-jitsu, some decent striking from Pyle, and obviously the experience, like I said. Hathaway's going to have no problems in this fight. He's the better wrestler, and I see him actually probably the better striker too. He actually, technique-wise, it's probably fairly close. Pyle's gonna, it's gonna be weird because the dynamic of this fight, Pyle wants to stay on the outside with his striking, and he kind of wants to be fairly close to Hathaway if he's going to use a jiu-jitsu. When Hathaway's in top position, which he most likely will be, Pyle's going to want to keep him close, prevent him from dropping huge ground and pound, and then, work for a submission. I just don't see anywhere where Pyle can win this fight, so I'm going to go with Hathaway. Could be a late stoppage, but I'm going to go unanimous decision. Pretty clear-cut, 30-27. Claude Patrick against James Wilkes. Wilkes, he's okay. His striking is okay. Again, okay. He's fairly well-rounded. His wrestling is his weak point. Claude Patrick, very athletic, good jiu-jitsu, stifling top game. Pretty much the same thing. Take him down. Wilkes reverses position. He's got to not leave his neck out there because Patrick has a wicked guillotine, and he could catch him with it, but I'm going to go with unanimous decision. Theme, picking a lot of decisions. Not saying it's going to happen. Hope it doesn't happen. Kurt Warburton against Spencer Fisher. Fisher looked in pretty good shape at the weigh-ins. He's been upping his game, training at different camps. Still mainly out of Militage, though. I don't know how much he's actually going around and, training. I think he spent some time at Jackson's and whatnot. Warburton is going to engage him where King wants it, where Fisher wants it. He's going to want to stand, and should be a pretty entertaining fight. I'm going to go with Fisher by decision. I think he'll get the better of the striking and more experienced striker, more experienced fighter. I think he may even try to go for a takedown at the end of the rounds, just to, get some points. Sway his decision in the eyes of the judges, so there you go. I don't know much about Spartan, Vinicius. Lots of wins by TKO doesn't necessarily mean much. I think all his wins by TKO. Lost one decision. Rob Broughton, top control guy, decent ground and pound, decent striking. Don't really care much about this fight. I'm going to go with Rob Broughton. From what I've been told and or heard about, Spartan is not all that great technique-wise. Not that most guys from shoot box are, but you know how it is. Broughton, TKO. I think he'll pull out a TKO second round. Here's an interesting fight. Cyril Diabate against Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson, very good striking, powerful striker. Diabate, good striker in his own right. Okay jiu-jitsu is because he's, tall and lanky. He's good at arm bars, triangles. Gustafsson's going to be the better wrestler in this one. And I think that, that's a disaster for Diabate a lot of the times. A powerful striker where he has to be cautious and stay on the outside. A better wrestler that can take him down and, avoid getting, submitted. Not that Diabate is the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy in the world. He does have a decent amount of wins by submission. He looked awesome against Luis Kane. I think that's more chalk it up to Luis Kane does not know how to deal with southpaws at all. The guy just cannot deal with southpaws. It should be an interesting fight. And just on the spot, I was going to pick Diabate. I'm going to pick Gustafsson. Unanimous decision. Possible TKO. Although, you know what? I don't think... Yeah. Diabate did get TKO'd by Shogun. Via stomps, though. So, not really going to come into play here. I'm going to pick Gustafsson. Better, powerful striker. I think he's going to land the more effective shots and use top control. Recurring theme. Travis Brown against Czech Congo. This is the one I've seen people talk about. Brown, huge underdog here. Huge underdog. And I can see why, but I can't at the same time. I mean, Congo has beat, Crow Cop, and he's looked good, and he uses top control. He's a decent striker, who has very good ground and pound, actually. It's his best asset. And they're assuming he's just going to go in there, look to take him down, and, even on the feet, Brown's a wild striker, and, Congo throws straight punches, and he's got a lot of power, and he's going to put him down. Here's my underdog pick, Travis Brown, knockout, first round. Travis Brown trains at Allied Training Center in, San Diego with Brandon Vera, Lloyd Irvin. Good ground game. I don't know how good he is off his back. I don't know how good his wrestling is. You're taking a huge leap here saying that Congo absolutely has better wrestling than Brown, or Brown has no takedown defense. And that's what every pick that I've seen pick Congo is basing it off of. You have no idea. You don't know how good Brown's chin is. You don't know how good his wrestling is. I know he hits hard, and I think he's got, the athleticism and the right training camp around him, or a decent enough training camp that he's going to be able to avoid it, keep it on the feet. He's got bigger power than Congo. Congo has problems with his boxing. His hands are okay, but he's mostly, a clinch guy. He uses knees, uses, his kicks. Not that devastating of a kicker, but his clinch work is where, Congo shines. Whether it be, the tie clinch, using knees, Greco-Roman, or, taking people down in his ground and pound. Those are his biggest assets. His striking is not. His striking is okay, like I said. He's absolutely horrendous off his back. When he gets taken down, he's just useless. And you don't know how good Travis Brown is off his back either. So, a lot of variables in this fight. What's going to happen? Travis Brown's going to catch him, I think, and knock him out in the first round. There you go. Carlos Condit, Dan Hardy. Interesting fight. I think, Condit is, since he's training at Jackson's, he's going to be more cautious in this one. He's not going to come out and just, be the natural-born killer that he normally is. He does have the finishing instinct, which I think still warrants his nickname, obviously, because he absolutely brutalized Rory McDonald in that last fight. Where I think happens is, Condit is good at, maintaining top position. He's very good off his back. Will we see it? I don't know if he has the wrestling to, put Hardy on his back. I think it'll go to the ground eventually because somebody got dropped or somebody slipped or, I think it will go to the ground. And Condit, he has a decisive advantage there. I also think, Condit's got to use his front kicks like he always does. Keep the distance, use leg kicks, not get caught by a huge left hook, avoid the boxing, as much as possible. And which is ironic for Greg Jackson fighters because they generally just use boxing, avoid, kickboxing, and just, take it to the ground. Hardy doesn't really have that much. He doesn't have the one-shot kill power that people. Yeah, he knocked out Rory Markham, and no disrespect to Rory, but it is what it is. Condit's got an amazing chin. Ellenberger, who's one of the hardest hitters in MMA, especially for at 170, as hard as he hits is unbelievable, and he took his shots and kept going and never gave up in that fight at all. So I'm going to pick Carlos Condit, unanimous decision. I think he outpoints him. I think he wins the grappling battle, and I think he avoids the big shots that Hardy's going to methodically place in his general facial vicinity. So there you go, Carlos Condit, unanimous decision. Again, lots of decisions. Michael Bisping, Akiyama. Does it bear repeating that, Bisping has better cardio, Bisping's the better boxer, he's not going to get drawn into a slugfest, he's very good. I mean, his defensive wrestling is pretty good, but even if he gets off his back, I mean, Akiyama's not going to be able to advance position very well. Bisping very good at getting back guard, and that's the long and the short of it. Michael Bisping, unanimous decision. Not really much going into. Can Akiyama catch him? Absolutely. He could catch him. He could catch him and knock him out. Could happen. Not going to pick it. I'm not going to bet on that this time. So there you go. Those are my picks. UFC 120. You guys stay metal. Later.